Hey. Hey, Patricia. Usually nobody comes on after the first minute. Sorry, my nose is running. Trying not to sneeze. I mean, admittedly, I feel better than I did, but work is taking a lot out of me now. Way more than it did before. It's like I'm looking forward to going to work and having my same old days where I just feel like crap. It's go back to normal. It's admittedly the last time I went to work was Sunday. Went out last Sunday, and it was absolute torture. This time was a little better, so I'm hoping it kind of gets a little better, and hopefully I don't fall back into a wave because the fucking weed, my neighbor smoking weed, all the stress I'm putting myself under, and all that shit. I just did some meditation, so I'm a little out of it right now. It wasn't too bad. I only did it for like 10 minutes, but whatever. Ugh. How you doing, Patricia? Feel my body inside shaking, a little more than normal. My anxiety's still not freaking out. I mean, it's still really high, but it's about my normal high, so I'm pretty, tolerate it a little better. Ooh, I don't feel like I'm gonna throw up 24/7, but I'm in worse shape than I was the last few days. That's for sure. But been worse in the last month, so it's been sneezing a lot today. Nothing major, just probably allergies. Yeah, that's kind of how it's been here. It's just like it goes insane out of nowhere. Just freaks me out. Ugh. And a lot of it is stress on my part, anxiety, making it worse. Mm. I'm hoping I tried to lay down for a nap. Honestly, I don't even know if I fell asleep at all. If I did, it was probably 5 minutes. Since my anxiety is a little down, like it's a little easier to fall asleep. Anxiety just makes my symptoms go crazy. So It just makes it worse. So just waiting it out. Honestly, I didn't think my anxiety would go down to this point at all. So even though it's still a real high, it's more tolerable. It was a decent day. It was just one of those things. It's like I totally psyched myself out because I haven't been out for work as much as I'd like, and now when I go, my anxiety gets a lot higher. So like literally, I drove, and as I was driving there, I'm literally telling myself, "Well, I don't need to be anxious," and I'm like, "Of course, that's gonna fuck it up." I kept battling in my own head. I am my worst nightmare. I fucking tell you, my brain is just my biggest enemy. And then by the time I got there, my anxiety was so high. So I did everything I could to get out of my own head. Seriously, if I was just calm, I could deal with a lot of this shit. As much as suffering as it is, I could deal with it a lot better. My visual issues, I mean, those will never go away, but I can tolerate. Sorry, I can tolerate them a lot more when I'm not this anxious. That's why I know I'm still really anxious because they're really bothering me. And I know one of the biggest ways to make it better is to just go with it, not worry about, who cares about anxieties? Let it be. But I can't seem to do it. I've tried, but just kind of let it do its thing and call it a day because it's not going to change anything. And for some reason, I always try to fight it. I can't stop trying to fight it. Stupid. It doesn't make any sense because it doesn't help at all. But I keep doing the same thing. I've been doing the same thing for years, and it makes no sense. That habit alone is almost impossible to kick. It's weird. Somebody mentioned the other day that I always hate when people say this. They're like, well, since you're lower on the medicine, your original symptoms are probably rearing their ugly head. And I'm like, oh my God, original symptoms. You have no idea my original symptoms were so minuscule compared to what I deal with now. My original symptoms were laughable. I was I was completely capable before all this. I wish somebody would have just said, "Dude, I know you want to go get some pills for what you're doing, and I understand you might be uncomfortable, but you're running your own business. You're driving like 3 hours a day. You're doing so much. You're doing music. You're recording albums. You are kicking ass. You moved across the country. You're kicking ass. That's not somebody who needs pills. That's somebody who needs maybe a little CBD once in a while." If somebody said that to me, my life would be completely different right now. Yeah, I don't get the worry about passing out and stuff. I mean, everybody's different. I mean, there's moments, there's times that goes. That's like my cycle of symptom where like passing out isn't like I feel is an issue, like might be an issue, and it'll last for like a couple weeks, and then my brain will pick something else to pick on. But that's usually not my norm. But I know it because and a lot of times it's when I'm standing in line at like a store, that's when it really hits me hard. Then I'll get really dizzy. Like today, my anxiety hasn't made me dizzy in a long time, but today it did. It was pretty harsh. And it was like the real person anxiety, not the chemical anxiety. This was like real anxiety. It was fucked. I can totally tell the difference. And as soon as I walked into the store today, I was just like, "Oh shit." I just had to start talking to people and get my mind out of the fucking gutter of symptoms, and it helps. But inside, I get really disappointed that I still can't enjoy the things that I want to. Letting go, I have no idea. I know all the right things to do, but I can't do them. It's just letting go of the fear, you know, of even if you are scared, who cares? Just let it go. Just let it be because nothing's going to happen. And it's not about not being scared of something because it's like I'm not scared to like go to the same place I always go. It's just my brain always always starts to fire every time I'm out in public. Hell, it does it at home, but every time I have to do something, it tries to ruin it. I really feel like I'm two different people. Like I have the good me who's fighting to be healthy and happy, and the bad me that's just saying, "Ha ha, I'm gonna make it complicated. Ha ha. No matter what you do, you're fucked. I don't care how hard you fight, you're gonna end up offing yourself. Ha ha." And that's what it's like. It's completely ridiculous. There's so much work involved. It's stupid. And then we got this new entity called COVID that is another thing we have to encounter and worry about. It's like I'm that I'm like always over the edge now to where I don't know how much I can handle more. And with that kind of shit, it just freaks me out. Freaks me out. Every time I get the sniffles, I start thinking I'm sick. It sucks. Just ridiculous. Gets old. I literally set up a COVID test for next Wednesday. Don't know why. They're so backed up with tests. It takes so long to get a test. I just set one up, and if I feel I need it, I'll go get it. It'd be less stressful. That's for sure, Patricia. I mean, that whole mess of staying home for a year. What the fuck was that? What in the fuck was that? Everything shutting down. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And then I fucked up my meds, and I'm supposed to worry about getting something that could, make me really sick. I just like we don't have enough to deal with. I always say I must have been a child murderer in my past life because this is nuts. Just trying to get my shit together and heal at all. Luckily, my physical symptoms are bad today, but they're not as bad as they were. They were getting pretty excruciating there for a while. It was almost like I just cut. That was fucking weird. The only thing I could think of that made things worse again was either the weed from my neighbor, stress that I'm putting myself under because of the weed from my neighbor. I just started calibrating my scale every single day. So that alone could have gave me onto a put me onto like a more normal dose. It might have changed it a little bit because I didn't realize I should be calibrating it every day. I didn't realize how off these fucking things are. And then you have to deal with how scary it all is because they were freaking you out on the news. And I was scared about my job and work and like, when am I going to be able to go out and go back to work? And at that time, I was like ready to. I could go out like three times a week. Can't do that anymore. But still, I didn't fuck up my meds yet. I'd actually go back to that point and start all over if I could. But I'm not supposed to think that way. What's done is done. Trying to pay attention to my relationship with my girlfriend. Trying not to worry about the fact that it's been 3.5 months since I cut and I'm still in bad fucking shape. And I'm a little better, but it's so up and down that sometimes it's so down that I can't even like get my head up, you know. It's fucking freezing outside. This is not helping at all. Of course, the allergens are better, but I'd almost rather deal with the bad allergens at this point. It's just been a really, really rough ride. I know it has been for everybody, but the whole COVID thing, I just don't get why. Like, what in this world? The timing of all this shit is just insane. Like when one day when I'm off, because when I'm off all my medicine, and probably I would say like a year later, and I do the video because that's when I want to do a video of my whole entire story and everything I've dealt with until that point, being off for a year. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be an absolute nutball of a video. And I'm gonna tell people, nobody's lucky in withdrawal, but if you didn't have to deal with COVID during it, be fucking thankful. Like if you didn't have to deal with like being in the middle of fucking withdrawal and have that come upon you, knowing that the few times you were trying to get out, now all of a sudden it's even scarier. I don't know what to tell you. What a joke. Life can be so fucking awful. But there's so much good in life, you know? And that's what I keep fighting for because there's so many things I want to accomplish and do. And what a waste of time this is. What a waste of time. It's like I'm doing what I can in withdrawal to keep my life going, but it's so hard. It is so fucking hard. I still try to help people in the on the benzo pages, but honestly, it's so fucking hard. Because I can't tell everybody my whole fucking story every time they ask. I just don't have it in me. Too complicated. You know, if you try to help anybody, it's instantaneously like 20 questions. How much were you on? How long were you on? Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, don't fucking drink alcohol. It doesn't matter what my story is. You know, just stupid shit like that. My story's been very complicated. And I've done everything in my power to make it as easy as possible, considering I have work, and work sets me back all the time. I mean, it's good I move, but like driving the 20 minutes and then going in the store for like 2 hours and sensory and then driving back home, being on my feet for a couple hours, it's just too much. But I have to do it. I mean, I'm not physically incapable, but it tears me apart. The stress with my girlfriend. I mean, things are so up and down. It's so hard to deal with. And that's made my waves really bad, I'm sure. I want to be confident in my relationship. If you love me, stay with me, no matter what. I just want to hear something like, no matter what happens, Dan, I will always be there. You do not have to worry. Oh, that was hard. That's just me. You always have to live on the fucking edge. It sucks. Driving's hell. I have no choice. That's the thing. Driving's hard. Sensory wise, it's such a bitch. And it takes so much out of me. And the thing is, I also don't want to lose it either. So I would rather have it be really hard and drive once in a while. Like literally just going out once a week is not enough. And it fucked me up having to drive. Where I need to at least get out twice a week, driving at least 20 minutes there and back for my brain to at least stay functional and not freak out. And it's just getting worse because of this fucking taper. Everybody thinks this is a fucking joke how slow I'm tapering. God, I want to be done so bad. Yeah, that's the same thing like with what I'm doing right now with walking. Even though it's freezing, or I'll go to Target or something. I'm starting to walk again slowly. And it's fucking hard. So I'm doing it anyway. I don't care. I gotta start moving again. That's the only way my nervous system's gonna start working a little bit. I can't just sit around all day. And I'm not talking about going out for work or even going to the store. I mean, I probably do more than most people in this situation, but it's not enough. Not to keep this nervous system strong. So I started walking again. Right now I'm at, and I didn't record it today. I like recording it, but it's usually about 0.33 miles, and it's not much, but it's start. I can't go faster because it's just like tapering. If I do too much, it'll just fuck me up and I'll quit. So little by little, get my body back to where it was a couple years ago, which I don't think will happen as long as I'm tapering again. But some days I just don't know how I'm going to get through this. I really don't. People say, well, you should be really happy you're on such a low dose. It's like, yeah, it's low, but it's going to take so long to get off this low dose. I'm so weak. It's bad. Got to start little by little, Patricia. And I don't think I walked for about a year. After I fucked up Remeron, that was like 9 months ago. So it's been about 9, 10 months. Probably about 10 months since I walked. Like I said, I'm not talking about going into the store or anything like that. So I got an app and it tracks me, and I have to start it and end it, but it's something, and it gives me a little push. And like and when it's like 30 some degrees, I can do it outside, but any colder, it's just too much. It hurts. Like today, I did it, and it was a little shorter, but it was freezing because it was like 20 degrees. So like yesterday, I went to Target and I walked around the store 3 times, and that was like almost a half mile. But that was actually too much. But it was better than nothing. But it's kind of like a sensory issue too, and that sucks. I don't want it to be, but it is. But I gotta keep moving because I think that's part of the reason my nervous system won't kick back. Is like, I mean, other than fucking up the meds, but I mean, I don't think it's kicking back the way it should because I'm not moving. It's like my body's just turned into a piece of shit. So I gotta at least try. All right, I'm heading off here, Patricia. You have a good night, and I will try to be back on here tomorrow. I'm sure I will be. And just remember to keep your head up, and if it's like things like driving or walking and stuff, it's just starting real slow again. You know, I lose stuff fast. I would become agoraphobic if I didn't go outside for a week. So it's like it gets really hard for me, but I have to keep pushing it, or things get really bad. But start slow. That's what we gotta do. And even if like I had to do this before, I've done the whole starting slow with walking, and I got to a point where I was walking a few times a week, like a mile or two. But I need to make it more consistent. So anyway, you have a good night, and we'll talk later.